waiting for this to kick in. Okay. Hello, data scientists and the wider audience of Cybernauts that we're looking to reach out to. I'm Troy Sadowski, the owner of the Data Scientist Group, and joining me on this call is my good friend Danny Teal, who together we have created the initiative of Nibiru 600. And what that exactly is what we hope to do is to reclaim the notion of cyberspace and the aspect of cybernauts, where we are all traveling around in the cyberspace, and we want to have the capability to create a planet, a place in cyberspace that we are calling Nibiru, and the initiative Nibiru 600 is the process of getting people involved. We hope to get at least 600 people involved to colonize this planet and to build it out of what it is right now, which is just a thought and an idea and an initiative to recreate a place in cyberspace where we can all share experience and knowledge. And yeah, we've got some guidelines and some aspects of values that we hope to present and bring in to the process of creating Nibiru and the initiative Nibiru 600. So, Danny, I'd like you to kind of just explain a little bit more about the culture and the values that we're hoping to bring forth. And I understand you got the aspect of the 4 C's that we were working on, or is it the 3 C's?
Well, actually, I think it turned out to be 4, and they deal with, I don't know, in a common language, I suppose we could call them the laws, the regulations, the guidelines. You can notice that my vocabulary gets less and less restrictive in being able to work together, right? And maybe we should just call them preliminary definitions of where we are in our thinking and see if that attracts the attention of people who have like-minded ideas about this sphere of the imagination. This sphere, in the literal sense, brings to mind the idea of a planet, right? Spherical planets. There may be planets that aren't spherical. Ours certainly isn't, but let's just refer to it that way. We have what we're presently calling the 4 C's, which are areas of discussion in how we begin to shape this culture. And since I mentioned culture, that's one of the C's. We have, I should read all 4 to begin with, just to give people an idea.
Yep.
There is commerce, there is community, there is conduct, and there is culture. Under each one of these 4, we have subtopics which deal with some ideas we would like to share with people. For instance, if we're talking about, I think I left one out, Troy. Maybe we're at 5 C's because we've got community as well. Right?
Yeah.
So within these topics, culture, for instance, since we started with that one, deals with the idea of arts and entertainment, language, health, for starters, which are all areas that can be added to, right, or shifted around after the discussion in order to determine whether or not they're in the right category. We have conduct, and under conduct, we have things like the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, I think in one version. We have the Buddhist version, I think, which is do no harm. We have sections which deal with more or less the legislative area of the judiciary, the executive, and the legislative branches to give us a place to start. When we're dealing with community, we're dealing with our interdependency, our self-reliance, our structure. Are we dealing with tribes? Are we bartering, or are we using some method of exchange, value representation in how we trade? We're dealing with things like profit, production, or like as in our company, which is an IT production company, which is sort of fielding this whole idea. And then we're dealing with other values, which I think come under commerce, and it's a lot, I know, are things like, as we conduct ourselves, our behavior, then we have to consider things like we choose to consider things like trade. What are the benefits of trade? What is the economy? Measures of control and regulation, security, enforcement, commodities, agreements. I'm not sure, I believe I said exchange already, but the whole idea of exchange, which I think, at least from my point of view, are the footings of a fertile area in which we can begin talking about these kinds of things. I'm sure the list is easily expandable as to what we do and how we progress and how we proceed in the idea of communicating with our fellow citizens. Yeah? How's that for starters?
Yeah, that's great. So let me get this right. So we've got community, and we've got commerce, and we've got conduct, and we've got culture. What was it?
Did you say community?
Yeah, community is number one. Because this is the way I see it. We're putting together a community that is in cyberspace. We're inviting anybody who remotely, identifies themselves as a cybernaut, who is someone that travels into cyberspace through their computer and is online and is interacting with other objects or in applications that are in cyberspace. We have cloud, we got video conferencing, we got forums, we got games. So those that are in this space of playing with cyberspace and can be seen themselves as a cybernaut, we want to establish a community, and that's number one. And we also are giving them a place to go to, which is Nibiru, the perfect virtual planet. And that is, again, just a place in cyberspace. So the community is number one. The second, we were talking about commerce. So giving people the ability to do something when they're there, interact and, change values for value, basically. So value exchange system. But when we introduce that, we have to consider the third, which is conduct. What we want to do with Nibiru is have a place that overcomes the challenges of the real world today that have become so massive and so systematic, so rooted in the way that we do things that it's really difficult to change. So with a new planet, we get the opportunity to really emphasize a new way of doing business, commerce, but with a conduct that is, enforcing sustainability, fair exchange, and, something beyond the limitations that we have today. The fourth was culture, and that's the overarching aspect and feel of what we bring to this society, what we bring to this community, and the way that we manage commerce and our conduct. So the culture is the fourth C, which sees the kind of
amalgamates.
What's that?
Amalgamates all of this.
Everything together. That's right. So, yeah, they're the four I heard. What was there a fifth jumping in and out? You said communication.
I did. As a matter of fact, I think my mind is going a little wild at the moment
Okay.
because not only did I realize that cyber also begins with a C,
Right.
so it seems like we're exploiting the letter C and all of the things that come underneath it, which also includes, and I suppose maybe first of all, creativity, right?
Right.
Which we really haven't mentioned so much because we deal with the aspect of freedom of expression, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how you come to Nibiru, what you bring, whether you just touch down and leave, whether you establish a campsite, whether you establish reasons for cooperation, another C, with other persons or presence on the planet, this imaginary planet, where you are bringing something to nothing. Because this planet really and truly, and it could be frightening to a large degree, of saying, we want to populate or create a planet of the imagination, and without giving you too many guidelines about where it is you can and cannot go. So with that being said, I would say that my notes indicate that we talked about culture, we talked about conduct, community, commerce, right? So that should be about 5. Commerce, community, conduct, let's see, culture, and I thought there was another one. But anyway, it doesn't matter. These are just categories, right? Just to get started.
Exactly.
And we are very open and very flexible to the idea of even adding, as I just pointed out, creativity. What are these sort of areas in which a person may express their creativity? Because you're a data scientist. And usually, I think in this case in particular, it means that we deal with the cybersphere. We deal with, the mind being imprinted on the computer and in the internet to be able to communicate and create a world that we like to think would be a perfect world without having to deal with the restrictions and laws of the material world.
Yeah. So the initiative, I see, bringing your skills and my skills, my experience, your experience together to actually utilize what we have in the technology, the cyberspace, to make it interesting from your branding and your, Hollywood acting and your technology introduction of business strategy and branding and marketing and communication. What we're coming up with in Nibiru 600 is an interesting way to utilize the existing technology in a fun and interesting and educational way that nobody's doing, which I'm surprised as well. When we came up with this idea, nobody else is doing what we are offering to do. This virtual planet that we present with an interesting story and reason and inspiration to actually contribute. And that's what this video is about as well. We're looking for people to contribute. We're looking for, we've already posted an article out on LinkedIn, so you can check that out. If you Google Nibiru 600, it'll come up, or go to the LinkedIn search and put in Nibiru 600.
How do you spell that, Troy?
That's Nibiru 600.
600 in numbers.
600, that's right. So, yeah, check that out. You'll see more information about what it is that the initiative is looking to achieve. And as well as that, please, what we're asking for right now is people to come with their product or services that they believe could contribute to the development of a sustainable planet that becomes or is from day one the perfect virtual planet, Nibiru 600. So if you have a product, if you have a service that you believe fits the category of being able to be utilized to help the sustainable growth of a planet like this, what we're asking you to do is make a small video and make sure you use the hashtag Nibiru 600 when you post that out, and we'll be using social media search applications to find your video, and we'll be talking about it in our next videos coming up, and of course getting in contact with you and developing the ideas. What we hope to do is have a sit down in the very near future where we have a virtual meeting like this one, and we discuss the progress that we've made, the ideas people have put forward, the talents and experiences that we have on the team, and how far we get with achieving a quorum of 600. So yeah, we ask for contributions, and we look forward for them to come in. And please remember to use the hashtag Nibiru 600. That's hash NIBIRU 600.
Wonderful. Look forward to meeting some interesting people. The future inhabitants of Nibiru 600, and the creation of a new, exciting, perfect virtual world. I think we can do it, and it's just, there's nothing there. So there are no restrictions, right? We create this world among ourselves, and it should be entertaining. It should bring a lot of benefits with it. And I look forward to it.
Me too.
Very much so. Last word is yours, Troy. What do you have to say last of all?
Yeah, that's it. Well, we want to inspire, passion and motivation for us to, come together. We have the capability, we have the technology. We just need to take action. And the first action you can take is just showing your interest, and it can come in any form. Please comment, please send videos, but tag it with Nibiru 600. And let's make Nibiru a reality in virtual.
Eventually. Eventually.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, sounds good.
All right.